As soon as we get a couple more people in here, then I will, kick off a couple of announcements.
Sure.
And but
Well, let me
yeah,
tell you.
if you
Let me
want
tell
to,
you a quick story then before, because I know you're going to
perfect.
be rocking and rolling today. And I'll probably repeat this a couple of times. So last night I decided to start really pushing this file size limit business, and I signed up at Pinata. I now have a paid plan on Pinata, which is 15 cents a gigabyte. And I uploaded. I'm calling it Nifty. I'll be completely honest with you guys because we're all friends here. I got super high last night, and I was like Nifty Film Classics. So I'm taking. I have three short films that I made between 2007 and 2011 that are all around 10 minutes each. They're well over a gigabyte in terms of their encoded size. And I was like, you know what? It's all part of my experiments anyway. So if somebody wants to buy this stuff, it's great. But like, I'm not like, it's not like a project. It's not like anything I'm like really pimping out. All just tests to see how it works. So last night at like 2 in the morning, I uploaded like an over 1 gigabyte file of my 10-minute short from 2011, Close But No Cigar. And I'm in Manifold Studio trying to get the NFT to mint using their little, like they have a couple of workarounds to like link to an IPFS file that's, greater than the limit that like any of the marketplaces support. And I have it working pretty much. Like I have my Genesis short is only a minute, so like that worked no problem. But so I was able to get this 10-minute movie working on Rarible, but it's not working on OpenSea. But I almost don't care because OpenSea's been having so many problems lately that I might just give up on OpenSea, not entirely, because they are, they're the big boy in the room. But if it works on Rarible, then I'm pretty sure it's like crafted properly and minted properly. So like I hope by the end of the day I will have three NFTs up that are for full length, even though they're shorts, but full length 10-minute films that are linked to an IPFS address where these movies live that I uploaded through Pinata. So far so good. Like I said, OpenSea is a little bit messed up, but like that's the joy of these test networks. Like you can deploy these things without paying any gas. I will also add, I made two smart contracts on Manifold last night. Gas was so very low. I paid for two contracts. I paid a total of 0.024 ETH, which they estimate that each one would cost between 0.03 and 0.05 normally, but I was able to like do two within about 15 minutes that only cost 0.024 total. So like it felt like a glorious experience. So it was almost fun, but now I'm hitting this OpenSea problem. So we'll get there.
Dude, that is impressive. You definitely have to tell this story later on in the room because I think a lot of people will be really interested. And also, you have to put out the links for us. Definitely in the Discord.
Oh,
Get the
absolutely. As soon as
chatter
they
going.
like, they're all. Oh, you mean the links to this chat or the links to the NFTs when they're up?
No. What you're
Oh
doing?
yeah,
Like
no. As
this
soon as
experiment.
they're on the Rinkeby test network right now. I haven't actually deployed them yet until I can figure out if I'm doing something wrong for OpenSea. But if I have to give up on that and like just have it on Rarible or something, I'll still put it on LooksRare, and yeah, links will go all out because. And I wanted to have this like tech talk chat with everybody and hear what everyone else is doing because the distribution talk that's been going on lately has been so high level, so awesome, so impressive. We've talked before. I mean, Kamani is so like he's very modest about it, but man, high level thinking stuff that like people are finally after like a year plus coming around to this new way of tokenomics and distribution and stuff. And I know Jordan, you're looking into it for your feature and all that. But to let everybody else know a little, just a little background about me, I'm a micro budget filmmaker. I'm the guy that gets together with his friends when we all have time in our schedule, say, hey, let's go make a movie and like let's not spend any money to do it or as little money as possible. I have all these old short films that like aren't even up on YouTube because we shot them before YouTube and never even like really did anything with them, and that was the old way. You send them out to festivals and maybe you get lucky. Like we don't have any money. Like I said, I'm a micro budget guy. Like me and my friends don't have money. So like we don't even have a budget for festivals. So the fact that we can even investigate being able to distribute these via NFTs is already a miracle. But like my interests in the NFT space, although yes, I'm gonna eventually get to all of the wonderful distribution stuff when I make my next feature. Like I want to use the NFT as the film and distribute it that way from people seeing it. So that's where my interests lie in the space. So I've been, even over the past years, things have really been going at light speed and all of these interesting directions. My interest now is still what it was when I first got here in NFTs a year ago, and that's to make my own stuff, make it as awesome as I can, make it as high quality as I can for as low a price, and really really like lock out those gatekeepers and not really try to distribute it on our own, try to disseminate it on our own, market it on our own, do all of it ourselves and not have to like depend on anybody. Which you still have to, all this distribution talk, you still have to depend on other people. You still have to do in NFTs a little bit, I suppose, but it's a different thing. So I've been investigating all these marketplaces. We've talked before about all the file size limits and all the limitations that have been placed in front of us and what we can do to get past all of that. So I was real curious to see, like, if anybody else has projects out there, please raise your hand, come up on the stage. I'd love to hear like what you guys are doing, not only about your projects themselves, which is always super cool to talk about, but like what platforms you chose, why you chose them, what your content is. Like, are you trying to do the same thing as me with like selling like the NFT is the film itself or the content itself? Or are you trying to do a distribution thing, where you have a DAO or something like that? So if anybody wants to come up on the stage, I'm happy to keep going.
Well, you know what? You give me a
Sure.
second to set the
Yes,
room, and
that's the one thing I need to start remembering to do as I blather on.
so I know pretty much everyone knows us here in the room today, and we're the NFT Filmmaker Squad. But in case someone wants to check out this recording later, I will tell you all what I say every room is that I founded the NFT Filmmaker Squad just a little over a year ago, and we've been meeting every Wednesday for a year, really chopping it up, and with the intention of being a destination place for filmmakers to come together for exactly the kind of conversation that Charnick is bringing today. We've spotlighted a ton of filmmakers. It's been really exciting. We've watched the space grow at light speed, and we have. It's been exciting. It's been exciting to be one of the pioneers, and as a community pioneering this space together. The Discord, I think the link works in my link tree, but you never fucking know because I changed it to never expire and it always seems to expire. So let me know if there's any chance, that you're not in our Discord community. I invite you in there to be there to receive support. I mean, that's the intention to really help each other out here.
The link works for
And
me,
let's see.
Jordan. I'll say that.
Well,
I know I'm already
that was a long time
I know I'm
ago.
already in, but like clicking the link takes me to it and doesn't give me an error. So if
All
that
right.
means anything.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. So and a couple other things that I just want to say before I hand it back over to Jason is that the regular we have Mondays with Miguel, as you know now, and also you're here, so you know that we have the Saturday matinee with Charnick, and but this next Wednesday, because Miguel Faus is dropping Calladita, his feature film project and the NFTs, rather than hosting here in this Twitter account, uh, I am going over from 1 to 2 to support him and his 12-hour marathon space.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's gonna be cool. But he really
I mean, if you're
he's
doing a
really
12
impressive.
hour, you're really getting after it. I think that's probably, that let's not forget that's more important than any of the platforms and all this stuff. It's the marketing.
Absolutely, and he's really rolled it out really nicely and tightly, and I've learned a lot from him. So in order not to to compete with what he's doing, because the ethos of the squad is to be there for one another. I want to consolidate our focus on him that day, and then on that day you will, I mentioned last week for the first time that something kind of special is coming on March 4th. And so to watch this space, watch the Discord, I'll be doing my little stealth rollout. And then on the 2nd of March, during Miguel's space, I will let you guys know what's happening on the 4th of March at 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It should be a lot of fun. So that's it for me right now. I'll pop back in later. I have to actually do a little something for that little thing on the 4th. I'm going to let Jason chop it up with you
Sure. Well,
guys.
get to work. Get to work. If you guys thought the space moved fast now, give it just like another couple of weeks when Calladita is out, and Jordan's just dropping some hints right there. So like things are gonna. And I'm shooting my actually like 2 days after that on March 6th. I'm shooting the first few episodes of Late Night Dreads, which is my episodic anthology project coming out, which I'm excited about. So I see a couple of familiar faces. I see a couple of familiar names. I see some new people. Movie NFTs. It's nice to see you here. That's what a perfect username for the spaces. So it's nice to meet you. It's nice to have you here. Lightning, Sherry, Dan. Dan, I haven't seen you in here before. Thank you so much for joining us. If any of you want to come up and join the conversation, I'm happy to do this like it's an AM talk radio show. But I'd love to hear from you guys as well, because again, when I got into the space, like a year plus ago, like everything that's kind of all these feature films that are out there, Julie Pacino's that we've talked about with Keepers of the Inn, which is so awesome. Miguel's with Calladita, he's about to, go off. There's been a handful of feature films that are using NFTs of other items, photography. Miguel is using film clips from his short that's getting adapted into the feature as the NFT itself. But I'm really, interested in, and even if it doesn't work, I love doing these things as an experiment. I love messing around with the technology, even though I'm not a programmer or anything like that. I love getting my hands under the hood, and especially with all the limitations that are in place, especially for filmmakers, I'm happy to mess around with things, and figure out whether or not things work, because no one has been, there's been many successful projects, but like it's still a lot of hard work. And I some people just don't want to mess around with learning how to use some pinata or coding a Solidity smart contract and stuff. I just want to disseminate my work to people in a different way, and see if that can resonate with people. As filmmakers, we're always trying to have our work resonate with an audience, and this is just a new way to do that. So if any of you guys didn't hear earlier, I was up late last night with Manifold Studio, which is I guess I can go through a couple of these different options, because if you guys are formulating your projects and you're just trying to like figure out what's out there, Manifold Studio is it's a DApp that you can use to code your own smart contract. When I first jumped in, the only real way to get into it was to, especially if you didn't want to spend a lot of money to get into it, was doing something through OpenSea's shared contract, Rarible shared contract, or Mintable's shared contract, where you can like mint under their contracts and disseminate your work that way, which is kind of funny because Mintable was a huge name about a year ago, and as things have kind of really accelerated in the NFT space, you haven't really heard from Mintable very much. So, but they are still out there. I know they're still cranking, but I really haven't heard about it in a bit. But your only real options were going under a shared contract, and unless you had some big bucks behind you to like hire developers and write your own. But over the course of the year, the team at Manifold, and I am not involved with any of these projects. Like anything that I speak about today too is just stuff that I've discovered through my own research. I am not involved, connected to, related, or a part of any of the projects, or on the teams of any of the projects that I'm talking about today. But I found out about Manifold a few months ago, and it was invite only, and they were doing some beta stuff. But then a couple months ago, they opened it up to everyone else, and I instantly jumped on it. It's a real simple tool to if you just want to put plant your flag in the ground for your NFT project on the blockchain and you just want to lock it in. We've had one of the friends of the show and member of the squad is Kamani Okira, and he's got a fantastic tokenomics white paper for his show, Press Pass, and his production company, Let Me Out Productions. And he does this most brilliant thing where just, staking your your flag in the ground on the blockchain, getting a contract minted to it, or, getting an NFT out there under your own name can be used as proof of origin too. If ever down the road there is, you have a problem with one of your projects and somebody says they might have been working on it before you can go to that blockchain ledger entry and be like, no, I did this first, and use that as proof of origin. So that's a great idea. So using Manifold, it's a very, very, very simple. It's literally a 5-minute process. You go to their website is, I think, studio.manifold.xyz. And again, if I'm just droning on and you want to jump in, please feel free. But I am also more than happy to keep going because there really is just so many options out there. But if you go to manifold.xyz, and then you can log into, I think the direct one is studio.manifold to get to the actual contract creation tool. But it is so super easy. You connect your wallet. You just name the contract with whatever you want to name it. You get to come up with a ticker token symbol, which is really cool because it makes you feel like you have your own coin, even if you're not having a token that you're going to trade. Just like getting to come up with an abbreviation is pretty cool. So you go there, you just enter the name, you enter the ticker symbol you want, and then some ASCII art. You can take anything you want and create some ASCII art out of it. They really like playing up the ASCII art aspect. So there's that. And just you mint it to the testnet, and which costs very little ETH. You have to request it. They give it to you for free. There are a few links out there. And you just deploy it to the testnet. It goes through its business. It doesn't cost anything. It's all fake ether. And the next thing you know, you get to look it over. It'll tell you that it all went through, or if there was a problem. I've never had a problem with it. And then you can deploy it to the mainnet. And on their docs, they say that, during normal gas times, it costs about 0.03 to 0.05 ETH to deploy the contract. And then it's another 0.02 to set your royalties, which you do after the contract. And last night I did 2 of them. Gas was super low last night. So I did 2 of them, and it cost a total of 0.024 ETH to deploy these things. And it literally only took 10 minutes. And then you use that tool to mint all your tokens, but that token address then gets picked up by OpenSea, Rarible, and then you can also add it to LooksRare now and list on LooksRare. So it's real easy to do this stuff under your own contract if you're just looking to get started. So that's about Manifold. I see we have a couple new people in the room. Abdullah, good to see you. Laura, good to see you. If either of you guys want to come up, feel free to request and come up and join the conversation. This is Saturday Matinee Tech Talk for the NFT Filmmaker Squad. Give it up for Jordan Bain. She stepped away from the mic for a moment, but she started the NFT Filmmaker Squad well over a year ago at this point, has built a very powerful community. Go to her link tree in her bio, and you can check out the Discord. Please join the Discord, join the conversation that way. And so that's what's going on. So does anybody have any questions? How about that? Does anybody have any specific questions about platforms, file sizes? Do you want to pitch your own project? Do you want to shill? I'm happy to go on and talk about some other platforms. I see Salam has joined us. Welcome. Cinemomo, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. So some of the other things that I've been doing, I'll talk a little bit about Mintgate. On my project, Late Night Dreads, and Sherry, this might be of interest to you as well, because this is about my episodic. So my upcoming project is called Late Night Dreads. It's not the first of anything. It's not the first of its kind, but it is a little bit different from these other projects where they're trying to raise money for to shoot a feature. For Late Night Dreads, the NFT, the content is the NFT. So we are shooting 8 episodes that are only 30 minutes in length. 30 minutes. They're only 30 seconds in length, so super short. And what they are adaptations of well-known and new and original two-sentence horror stories. So if you're familiar with two-sentence horror stories, there's a popular Reddit about trying to tell the most frightening story you can, horror story you can, in only 2 sentences. And so one of the reasons why we wanted to do this as the concept for the show was exactly what we've been talking about for a really, really long time, are the file size limits. OpenSea only has, I think it's 100 megabytes right now. Rareables is, at least this website that I found says 30 megabytes. Mintables is 200. Through Manifold that I was just talking about, it's 200 megabytes, and you can email them and request them to bump it up to 500, which they will do. But like, if you're making a feature film or you're making any kind of extended short, you know, how much are you really gonna fit into? You know, 500 megabytes. Zora has 500 megabytes. Jordan's motion picture Red Flags is on Zora. We were able to get it under 500 megabytes, but it's still only a 4-minute piece. So how are you to, you know, create your content and fit it into these file size limits? So we wanted to come up with an idea, a concept that could play into that limitation. So we're going to adapt these 2-sentence horror stories and do it that way. But as I was saying earlier, if anybody was here when we first opened the room, I'm messing around with a platform called Pinata, available. Their website is pinata.cloud. And that lets you upload files directly to IPFS, where I think their file limit is 25 gigabytes. So you could fit a whole Blu-ray quality movie on there. If that was your, you have to pay for it, but if that was your want, you could do that. And then, you know, and then connect that to your token, your NFT that you mint through Manifold, that way. So, you know, as I said, so yeah, so we're steering into the file size limit, even though we are using Pinata. I like to do it myself, like I said. So I want to like have direct connection to IPFS, and Pinata lets you do that. So, you know, unlike these other projects that are selling NFTs to raise funds to shoot the feature film, our NFTs will be the content itself, and each drop will have 8 episodes that have different variations and different versions and things like that. So one of the things that I was looking into for a long time was trying to token gate things and have it in a way that if you didn't own one of the episodes, or if you owned one of the more entry-level episodes and not one of the rarer ones, that you couldn't necessarily see the rarer ones unless you had that token. And the more I thought about it, and the more I spoke to people in the space, you know, information wants to be free, and in Web3, we don't want to hide things from other people if we don't have to. So I've decided against it, but there is a website called mintgate.io that lets you can either mint through them, or you can take a previously created NFT and basically put a paywall in front of it. So that unless you actually have that token, you connect your wallet, and unless you actually have that token in your wallet, you can't view the content at all. So if you are working on a project, where you want to, you know, make sure it's so some of it is for limited eyes only, Mintgate is one way to do that as well. So let's see if there's anyone else in the room. I got hi Ginger, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us. If you want to talk about your NFT project or any of the platforms that we're talking about, feel free to request and we'll get you up on stage. Let's see, what else can I talk to you guys about today? Let's see. So thank you, Jordan. You boy, it's not easy, is it? No. I'm like, thank you guys for bearing with me. I can talk. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I was trying. I was coming back to my phone for a second, and I'm just like, where are the people? Get on stage, y'all.
Yeah, join the conversation.
Get in the conversation.
The best part about it is, like I said, I am happy to drone on. I really am, because you guys can tell I will not shut up. So like I'll happily do that. But when I first joined the NFT squad, the filmmaker squad, the best part about it was everybody experimenting together. Like, I think one of the things that's kind of changed a little is kind of off the topic of tech talk, but maybe someone has some thoughts about this. Like we were all discovering these things together. Like we were all so willing to make mistakes and experiment. And it sucked too, because I'm a natural skeptic. When I first was reading up on all of this and I first learned what gas was for the first time, I'm like, you want me to pay $170 for the right to like not sell my stuff? Like, huh? So like, I was like, what? But then I realized as I started doing it, like, first of all, it's fun as fuck to experiment. It's fun as fuck to mess around and disseminate your work in a whole new way. So I was always happy to make mistakes. I was always happy to experiment, and I have a shitload of stuff that's still up on OpenSea that I even wasted time migrating all of these silly listings, that have been sitting there for a year, migrating them to their new contract, because they're my early, like, I'm proud of them because they're my early experiments, So when we were all kind of coming into this space, it was new to everybody. But recently, and with the proliferation of all the PFP projects, and not with our squad, but there feels like there's a mindset shift. And a lot of the new people that are coming in are doing great things. But like I said, I'm just a little micro budget filmmaker that just kind of wants to shoot fun stuff and share fun stuff with a new audience and a new crowd. So it's real interesting to me to see how that's kind of changed in a little bit too. Let me go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and then I'm gonna go back to editing,
sure.
But
and then I'm gonna make Max talk, because I've been chatting with Max. And I'm going to get Max on stage. He's going to join this conversation in a sec.
Max better get on stage. So what was I going to say? I was going to say, in the beginning, a year ago, there was definitely some, like, with a lot of the big brands and stuff like that, it's like, stay the fuck out.
Right.
We're here creating a new world, and we don't need you, like, oppressing us anymore, and gatekeeping anymore and all of that. But I do think that, there's room for all of us. But it is very much, and we've talked about this a few times in the squad, it's very much how they move through the space. And I talked to somebody the other day about this in a meeting. I was like, look, when I was on that panel with L'Oreal Red Paris with OpenSea, the thing about L'Oreal was that they took five women artists, and they basically amplified them and used their platform and their brand to get those artists seen. So all those women got their works, their NFTs sold to collectors, because L'Oreal helped them get those collectors. And then L'Oreal didn't take a penny or a sat. So that's a beautiful way to come in as a big brand into Web3 and create community. And then there was, Adidas. And Adidas came in and they partnered. And when I think they partnered, I can't remember who they partnered with, but they came in and partnered, and that's the key word. So rather than coming in and acquiring, which is what Nike did with that studios, I can never say their name. That's the difference. It's like the community's like, no, if you're going to come in, you're going to come in and you're going to partner with us. You're not going to come in and take over and gatekeep and acquire and then, run off and make this Web 2 again. And so I think that when we start to see the big people come in, and even when you see some of these people coming in and being like, okay, we're going to be the next production company. Well, no, they don't even say the next. They say the first. Everyone says the first, because everybody has to say the first. Even I'm getting ready to start saying the first in a couple of days, and I'm going to laugh my ass off every time I do it. So the point is that a lot of these people, you have to vet them just like anyone else, because they're startups and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And like a lot of us, and what I love about many of us, we're starting small and we're trying to build small. And that's, that goes back to the ethos of the film squad, is building community from with each other, like arm in arm, and trying to create an ecosystem that allows filmmakers to have sustainable livings, and and really working that out in a super innovative way. And we've seen that happen, and I think that there's been an incredible collision of ideas and people coming in, whether it's big brands or small filmmakers. And in the last, I can tell you, since my drop on January 26th, this, and maybe a week or two before, this space has gone bonkers. From Julie Pacino's to mine to Miguel to, a lot of other people, a lot more eyes are coming in here. I know some people don't like the Arabian camels, but I think what they're doing is really cool. And so to your point, big brands are going to come in, and I think we have to embrace them if they move through the space in the right way. And if they don't move in the space in the right way, they have to be held accountable in the best way that the community can. And, we're going to see all sorts of variations of that. And before I stop talking and go back to getting some things prepared for the stealth event happening on March 4th that I just started dropping little hints about. Um, the March 4th from 1 to 3 will be a little thing. I just want you to put it in your calendar and keep an eye on the Discord and keep an eye on this account because I'm going to be dropping little hints. But before that, if you're new here, and I see a couple of new people, the NFT Filmmaker Squad's been meeting for over a year every week. And when I founded it, I was looking for filmmakers, and I found 4 women, which is just amazing. 4 women who jumped into this space with me and started talking about it and chopping it up. And then, we started finding one filmmaker and we spotlight him, like J. Harry Edmondson. And then we, found David Bianchi's first drop and we spotlighted him. And then we just kept growing. And so now we have Mondays with Miguel's, the OG room with me on Wednesdays, and Saturday Matinee with Charnick here. And we all have a little bit different take on the way we do it. And it's fun, and we're growing. And I consider everyone a member of the community. And if you want to engage with us more, there's a Discord link in my link tree. And the only thing I want to say is the 2 announcements is, I just talked about March 4th, which I will actually make an official announcement. In Wednesday's room, which will not be in the space for the first time in over a year, we are going to go to Miguel Faus's NFT 12-hour marathon space for his feature film drop. And we're going to be there to consolidate and focus all of our support for one of our colleagues and seeing him, succeed. Because if he succeeds, we succeed. And, I say, if I prosper, you prosper. If you prosper, I prosper. And one other thing, and then I'm going to go back, is that if we cannot, let's say, for instance, if you do not have the bags to support Miguel, in ETH next week, please remember that there are micro actions. Having bags is a macro action. Being able to collect is no easy thing for most of us. So you can do micro actions like following him, follow each other in this room because we're a community. Retweet people, get other eyes on them, because the thing is that the people that follow me and the way the algorithms are, they may not ever see your stuff. But if I retweet it, then you get a chance to possibly, find a collector or find someone who wants to support your work, and the same for everyone else. And I think that's it for now. And I'll throw it back to Jason. And Max, come on.
Come on up.
Come on,
Yeah,
bud.
if you want to talk about your stuff, come on up, because I will keep going. We probably won't go for 2 hours if that's the case. But I'm happy to keep going. And Jordan's exactly right about the algorithm and us having to lift each other up. Because I follow a couple of people that I follow you. It's because I want to see your stuff. I do follow for follows most of the time, but I love to see everybody's stuff. A couple of years ago, my entire Twitter timeline was just filled with garbage and politics and crap. And then since I got into the space, now my timeline is filled with art and beauty and light and love on Twitter. It's possible, but the algorithm will fuck with you. I will see people that I follow. I will not see their actual tweet, but 2 days later, I will see somebody else's, I will see somebody else retweeting them. Let me get you up here, Max. I'm learning how to do it, man. I'm learning how to do it.
I already did it. He's already up there.
Hello?
There you go. Well, that's why I can do it. Hey, Max, how are you?
Hey,
welcome to Saturday Matinee. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. Smacking on a piece of pizza right now. How are you guys?
Nothing wrong with that. Doing all right. Just trying to, talk about NFTs, seeing what people are using for their projects. Just kicking it around, man. Just kicking it around. What are you working on right now? Are you shooting anything? What are your NFTs out there right now? What you got going on?
Well, for the past few months, really the past 2 years, throughout the whole pandemic, I've been dealing with a lot of own personal problems, just very
sure
extreme stuff. So these past few years have just been a whole journey of just trying to get myself back to, mental shape, mental form, to where I once was. And I mean, for the most part, in my time being in the NFT space, it's mostly just been about like just being in there, with good intentions, with sincerity, and trying to like learn and try to understand more. And even though like I've tried to like make actions and like sort of hyping myself up to like uh, promote myself in the way that I'm trying to be an artist and to utilize the NFT model, to my benefit with producing these films. I mean, I had to take several moments to step back and just think from like a bird's eye view of what I really want to do and what I want to have happen. And it's really tricky because like I see so many generative projects and then like these one of one projects, but for what I want to do, it's a little bit of both, where it's like I do want to make my films, and I feel like I'm not even like, I mean, for who I am, like I started making films like at 12 years old, like making stop motion animated films, live action, skits and whatnot, and then that carried on through, throughout middle school, throughout high school, a little bit of college. But I mean, all throughout that time, I was doing other mediums as well, like dance and music and like music production. So like, I don't know, I feel like I'm at a spot where I say like I have like experience, but I'm still like small time filmmaker. So I'm trying to figure out where and how I can like utilize this NFT stuff to really build a career. Prove to myself that I can make a short film of like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever. That's like really concise, and it's really difficult to make a short film, honestly.
Of course,
dude.
of course.
To
Well,
make
yeah.
it
Let me
land.
jump in on that for you, Max. So,
Yeah.
like, absolutely, man. Like, it's I whenever I speak to any filmmaker, like, it's an incredible accomplishment just getting your film made, and in especially in NFTs now that there's this whole other dimension to our projects, it can be so overwhelming. So I think you're totally doing the right thing. Just trying to learn. Like I said, I like my first project, for Late Night Dreads, like my first official project. That's not like me, fucking around and testing things. Is it took me over a year to get to this place, and that's why I wanted to have like this kind of tech talk conversation with people, and it's already taking on a different spin, which is awesome. But it's to empower people, like Jordan was saying, like all these brands are coming in now and they're trying to just do their brand's thing. And guys like you and me, we're just micro budget filmmakers. We just want people to see our stuff, and we just want to find a new way to disseminate our work. So I think you're doing the right thing. Just kind of getting that bird's eye view, that lay of the land, and finding out what tools are out there to get your voice out, to help aid in disseminating your work to people.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I mean, I'm thankful to you and both Jordan for just helping me along the way and really welcoming me into the space with open arms, and along with so many others. I mean, I feel like for all of us, like we're building community and we're building like our own space for ourselves to like build and like connect with others that film enthusiasts, that those that want to invest in our own projects, to see our own dreams realized. And I mean, that's a start, but then we had to go through the whole process of pre-production, production and all that jazz. But like it's like a whole process. Like you're building something, and then you gotta stay with the community. You gotta build like a team, before you even make the ballpark. So it's like, I don't know. It's half the time I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or like I don't know what to do, or like I just feel lost sometimes. But I feel like with the community, like always there, that's been what's keeping me grounded and along the path.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, and that's why we're here. I'm more of a mid-career filmmaker myself. I'm in my mid-40s. All Web3 is, it can be a bit funky for an old timer like me sometimes. But I enjoy seeing these new opportunities, and I've been meeting in the NFT world. I've met more filmmakers in real life than I did before. So the community is definitely a welcoming one. We are here to lift each other up. Jordan speaks always about micro and macro actions. If you can't support an NFT project with your wallet, you can always support them by amplifying their voice and liking and retweeting stuff. So like, there's always things you can do to be a part of the community. You know, we're all, you know, I'm not a perfect filmmaker. This is all part of that grand experiment. But that's the best part about this place, is being able to make those mistakes and not feeling like, you know, I mean, unless you're worried about the gas you're about to spend when you're about to click the mint button, you know, for, you know, just like, is my mint ready? Did I spell everything right? Because this is gonna, you know, this is gonna cost some ETH, you know. So there's always that. But there, you know, it's fun to mess around. It's fun to experiment and meet people and swap stories, you know, like that, because we absolutely will lift each other up. I'm going to start learning a little bit more about having, you know, to run one of these spaces. So I'm just going to reset the room real quick. This is the NFT Filmmaker Squad. It is Saturday Matinee with me, Jason Charnick. We do this now 3 times a week. Jordan Bain is the OG. On Wednesdays, she has her show. We also now have Mondays with Miguel Faus, who's releasing his project in about a week or so. Next Wednesday, we'll be in his room for his marathon session, as Jordan had mentioned. So yeah, we have these 3 times a week, and they're awesome. You know, we've been learning so much from so many different people. It's been, you know, quite an experience getting to meet people through these spaces over the past year and a half. For me, it's been quite a blast. And that's why I love to have these conversations on a glorious Saturday morning and afternoon. Check Jordan's Discord. I'm going to add it to my Discord as well, or my link tree. Check Jordan's link tree in her bio for the link to the Discord. Join the conversation, join the cord, join the squad. We'd love to have you and swap your stories. If anybody else wants to come up, I see some more familiar faces, some new faces. Kevin, good to see you, man. If you want to come up and talk about anything you're working on or kick the can around with us, please, by all means, we'd love to hear from you. You are quite a leader in the space, and you are also quite an awesome artist, my friend. You do some great fucking work, and I can't wait to have you in my collection one day. So I'm really glad to have you here. So if anybody, come on up, Kevin. Good to hear from you, man. I am really, really new to running these spaces, so like I'm bumbling with my phone. It's good to see you, man. Kevin, how you doing?
Hey, Kevin.
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for calling me out. I appreciate that. I've been following you guys quietly for a while, and I'm excited to hear what the NFT filmmaking space evolves into. Honestly, I feel bad about this, but I have my own space starting in exactly 9 minutes, so I'm going to have to literally hop off and get my notes together. But
well, thanks for popping in for just a minute. We're glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm sure I'll be back, particularly with you guys on 3 times a week, and I'm of course very excited to talk about AI filmmaking, which is I would consider that a subcategory of NFT filmmaking.
That is tech talk. That is real deal tech talk.
That's real deal tech talk. So I will get back with y'all shortly in the next week or two, and we'll talk a little bit about how some of the groundbreaking, amazing AI technology that's coming out literally on a weekly basis is influencing literally the reach and power of the independent filmmaker. Because now, I don't know how much of the stuff you folks have seen, but now I am able to sit at my workstation and create, generally speaking, I mean, this is not a very good metaphor, but you know, we have the power of Star Wars in our Google Colab accounts today, meaning that independent filmmakers can now make things visually so amazing that.
Oh no, did he get rugged?
Me up.
Does anybody else hear him? Oh no, you're back.
Sorry, I got rugged by my alarm telling me I had to get on my other space. So I'd love to come back and talk a little bit about AI filmmaking. I don't know how much of that you heard.
Please, yeah, definitely come back anytime. You know, we'll have you on. I want to hear more about it because I'm an editor myself. I love messing around with all of that shit. I know about Runway ML, which is like basic like AI editing, but I'm sure you're doing some crazier high level stuff. So I want to hear all about it.
That sounds awesome. Listen, you folks have a great day, and I'll be back with you soon.
Absolutely. You have a good spaces too. I'll probably cruise on in after this.
Love to have you. Great.
Awesome. We'll see you then. All right.
Take care, Kevin. Good hearing from you.
So this is the kind of stuff that like we're talking about community. Like, you know, people are working on so many, and this is why we say we're all going to make it, because everyone's working on so many different unique things. Whereas in what I used to call legacy film, I still call what I call legacy film, like when you're making a short or a feature that you're trying to get distributed, by, these ancient means now. It's still the same thing. We're all competing for limited festival space. We're all competing for limited distribution spots, even though there's more content than ever before. It's still a slog to get noticed. And, it took me 7 years just to get to the point of having a distributor basically take money off of the table and be jerks to me. Like, so I've worked my ass off just for a distributor to like be all Hollywood in my face, and it's so competitive. But here, there's so many, like what I'm doing is different from what you're doing, Max, which is totally different from what Jordan's doing, which is totally different from what Kamani is doing and Kevin. So like there really is room for all this different stuff because it just, this new dimension of NFTs just adds an extra layer of creativity to your projects that you didn't have before. And that just lets everybody kind of go off in their own direction, create a project that works for the content that you're trying to create. And that's why I wanted people to know about these tools that are out there, because they're simple and they get rid of the gatekeepers. It just takes you right. It's just between, the only gap is between you and your audience. There's no other people and gatekeepers to get in the way anymore. So anyway, I see, a couple new people. Sid, good to have you here. If you want to chat, feel free to request. We'll get you up. But I see Sherry has come up as a speaker. Sherry, it's good to see you. I hope you're having a great Saturday. How's things going?
Hey, great Saturday. I was just out walking on the boardwalk. I live in Atlantic City. It's very cold, but it's really great to see the ocean. Nothing beats it. So hope everybody else is having a great Saturday. I was just thinking about what Max was saying, about community. And I really have found community, especially with the Jordan's Film Squad starting this summer. It feels really good to connect with people that are trying new things and not being afraid to try new things. And I think as a filmmaker, at least what I've found over the past 14 years is I feel like I'm pretty much on an island most of the time. I literally am. But, with working on projects, sometimes it feels a little lonely because it's great when you finally get to principal photography and you're shooting and you have a team. But in the beginning, it's mostly a solo activity. Maybe I have a partner. So it's great to be able to find people in spaces and Clubhouse that are like-minded, are trying new things, and be able to get feedback from people and support from your community. And I'm really finding a lot of power in this. And as Jason's saying that we're all trying new things, and I think there's room for everybody out there. And even though maybe someone's trying something already that you want to try, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. So I just want to put that out there. I've been in the space for over 2.5 years now. And when I say the space, I mean blockchain. NFTs are really a new thing. Blockchain is really a new thing, but NFTs are even newer. Like it's been like a year. So when you're joining this community, know that you are in the very beginning of all great things that are going to start happening to help monetize our content and help fuel our passion of filmmaking. So that's what I wanted to say, Jason. I also wanted to get your feedback on, have you played around in the metaverse with like crypto voxels? I saw you posted something today. I think there's going to be a film showing, and I wanted to find out what kind of experience anybody has had in using crypto voxels or Sandbox or Decentraland to show their film.
I have to jump in. Sorry, Jason.
No, go to it. Do it to it.
I gotta jump in.
Shout out Ian.
Well, yeah, we could shout out Ian. We could, but I would say that last summer, Ian came to me. If you want me to shout out Ian, and he came to me and he said he had these amazing ideas, and he actually really does. He's got one idea he's not rolled out yet, which I think is going to be so helpful for filmmakers. It has a lot to do with like pre-production and things like that. But yes, Ian is definitely doing something. But I'm just going to say that if you look at my Twitter right now and you see the thing that I just retweeted, just know that I've been doing a stealth thing. And Sherry, just keep an eye on me. That's all I'm going to say. Doing this little stealth thing coming March 4th.
What is that? The Primo Black thing?
You
But
bet.
we're just gonna have to leave. Like, see, this is the marketing challenge. We're just gonna have to leave it at the hint. It looks, oh boy, that looks fucking super cool. I don't even really know much about it. We're just gonna like, unless you want to spill the beans, but like, I'm excited to wait.
I'm spilling the beans on March 2nd. Just know that it's been in process for me personally since last June, and
That's awesome.
And that I started.
Watch this. All we'll say is watch this space.
I've started to to maybe just do something for the last month.
Cool. That's cool.
Jordan, I had a feeling, and I was trying to get that out of you, so I succeeded.
Made it happen. But
you don't know. You don't know yet. You don't know what's happening.
I got a feeling.
See, this is super exciting, and I can answer the question a little bit too, Sherry. Like, I don't have any exciting news to hint at or anything, but like when I first heard about crypto voxels, like I thought it was just the most and I started I went to people's parcels and I would just hop around and dance around and just it's amazing. And quite frankly, like I went to look for a parcel probably 8 or 9 months ago at this time, and I went to look for a parcel and I'm like looking at the map and like all the addresses are like funky like crypto-y techie addresses, but then there's like a neighborhood called the Bronx, and I am from the Bronx. So I was like, I need to immediately get a parcel. But holy shit, even 8 months ago, they were like super expensive, more expensive now, I'm sure. So I should have grabbed one then, because my wife is a real estate agent, and she was like, she too, like what Ian is doing, and anybody, he's not here with us today because he just had a young child, and I'm sure a Saturday is already more filled up than he can deal with. But he's at the real Ian Q, and he did. My wife was always like, you should build a movie theater, you should have a film festival, and then you should partner with South by Southwest. And I was like, all right, well, one thing at a time. but Ian's doing exactly that. Like, he bought a parcel, he built a movie theater. He's doing a screening of Miguel's short Calladita. I know he has, we'll have him back on, and he'll be on, I'm sure, everybody's faces when he's ready to go live. But the theater is there, it's built, it has a concession stand, it has movie posters in the lobby that are just NFTs also. So like, it could also be a way to display other people's work, like outside of the screenings. So it's all really starting to happen. And I probably should have jumped on it 8 months ago, but boy, there's just so much, to learn and so much to do that like something had to fall by the wayside. And that was one of them.
I'm going to jump in and say this. There's some really, really amazing things going on. Natalie Cruz took me on an incredible tour the other day, and I went to a party, and I went to a fashion show the other day, and I went to the African Museum, which blew my mind. It's like 9 stories and with all these incredible, works of art. I encourage anyone to jump in there. The way I got in there was I just started going in and trying to figure it out and literally walking through the streets. And I'd be like, oh, I know somebody has like, oh yeah, right. Shepard Fairey has this space, and in fact, his space is still up and it's super cool. And I'd be like, oh, so I went over there and checked that out. Oh, right, these people have a space, and I go check them out. Like Steckel has her space, and it's also, I love her space. It's she's a fashion designer, and so yeah, I encourage you to just jump in, just go visit a parcel, and then just start walking around the streets, or flying. Flying's easy too.
I mean, that sounds like I said, like just even like plopping yourself in the middle of nowhere and just seeing what it is. Like, and I'm doing it on my desktop, and like it's amazing. I can only imagine how crazy it is if you had like an Oculus or some sort of VR headset to like really put yourself in there. Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Because I got an Oculus headset on me right now, and then last night I was just in this immersive space playing PokerStars VR, and I just immediately thought, like, imagine if like in this what I'm seeing right now, you're gonna have like a whole panoramic view of like a whole movie theater, like it's decked out to look like an Italian theater playhouse or something, but there's a big ass screen at the far end of the side of the room, and everybody's just watching this movie. You can have different views from like third person to like first person. You can have different emotes. You can have a whole chat table. You can type, your reactions or questions or whatever. Like, I mean, just from that, just in playing on the desktop alone in itself, that's like a video game, but like to have that immersive experience, and then to sort of, advance the way that the cinema has become, as it's playing on our phones and our tablets, on our computers. Like, these are the ways that, we watch movies nowadays. And I think with that extra push, with that extra advance in technology and in the metaverse and Web3 and whatnot, like that will definitely develop the cinema into something that's never, that it never had. So.
And it gives me an opportunity to also shout out another friend of mine who was one of the first filmmakers I met in this space. His name is Michael Beats. Go follow him. He's at Wide Awake Beats. He does a lot of development on Tezos. He's doing the Here and Now event on. This is like the fourth iteration of just the most insane VR art. I can't even begin to explain it. It's hereandnow.events. And it's like his new one is like starting up literally in like the next week or two. But there's craziness going on in the world, so he pushed it back. But one of the things that he did that I'd like to give you, Max, something to think about, and give you guys all something to think about in terms of the VR stuff, above and beyond crypto voxels, Michael Beats, he is selling chapters of his film called Nazunaban on Foundation. And he's been releasing them as chapters so he can, fit within those file size limitations that we also talk about. But one of the amazing things that blew my effing mind when I found out that he did this, if you buy a chapter, when he shot the film, because he does all these VR experiences, just in his day job and in Web3, he created a 3D model of the set. So if you purchase one of the chapters of the film, you can watch the film in a VR model of the set. So you can literally be in the film while you're watching. So like the scene takes place, like there's like a couch in like a Japanese house, and like the scene takes place like in this living room area, but you can sit on that couch in your VR, headset in your VR land while you watch that portion of the movie that you own play like in your headset. And it was just the most mind-blowing thing that I thought of, and Sherry, if it's something that you hadn't thought about as well, and that's something you got to plan out like really early in pre-production too, to even have the foresight to do that. But what a wonderful new dimension for the content itself that goes above and beyond, just being able to go to a virtual theater, like, which is super cool. And we're going to have a blast doing that and going to everybody's movie theaters. But to be able to like literally be inside of the set of the film, really, it just shows you that we haven't scratched the surface of what this technology is enabling us to do to elevate our projects. And it's really, it's quite amazing to me to see all those things that are, so like when you hear about the next hot, 10K profile pic project, that blasts off and like makes a boatload of cash, like it can be easy to get down about that. But, I also reiterate the lessons of a 46-year-old baseball card collector. When we were buying baseball cards in 1988, we all thought we were going to grow up and put our kids through college with these things one day. So the winds of change blow very, very quickly in NFT. And, something else is going to be the thing to catch on. And there's always going to be these, these waves of trends in projects, So, but just the possibility, like literally the possibilities are endless. And this is the thing that I love best about it, because it means we don't have to compete with each other so much anymore. It helps us lift each other up because we're seeing this, like, it really is like being in like the fourth dimension. It's a completely different thing we've never seen before. And it all, like I said, goes back to these, at least for the original topic of today's conversation, into these tools that the community is building. Don't forget, like these tools like Pinata that I use, Manifold that I use, these aren't like, this isn't me paying Amazon Web Services to store something in the cloud. Like I'm not, helping, Jeff Bezos send, send himself into space again. Like these are other people that are just like us, that are small people learning the technology, mastering the technology, and creating these tools for the community. You know, Manifold, to create the smart contract, you have to pay the gas, but that's it. The Manifold team doesn't take a cut. You know, Pinata, I'm on their like small teams plan, their small plan. It's 15 cents a gigabyte. And I'm already making a show where the episodes are going to be 30 seconds long. So these files are going to be like 40 megabytes. So like I can do 10 seasons of this, 10 drops of this before I even have to pay more than like $3 a month for storage, you know? And to know that when I'm using one of these services, I'm directly supporting smaller creators like us that are just trying to do their thing in this space. It makes me feel a lot better knowing that I'm doing that than you know, like going with, because you know Amazon's going to have one. Amazon's going to have some sort of NFT marketplace. They're working on it, I'm sure, and they're going to want to come in, or whoever else, other big tech companies, you know, Twitter's, you know, starting to connect to Web3. They're going to find some way to try to monetize it. But we're working together. We're working with each other. Like when I'm working, like doing stuff with Pinata, they're receptive. We all have Discords. They're all very, very, you know, on it in terms of tech support and being part of the conversation and having them help out and things like that. Like they want to make their offerings as good as possible, you know, not so they can grow into Amazon, but so they can like have a tool that they've made that works. And to be a part of that kind of connection with other people too, I think shouldn't be lost, because it especially in film production, as we've talked about many times before, it takes a village, you know, like Sherry said, and I get it too. Like it's a very, that initial development time when you're trying to flesh out exactly what you're trying to do can be very lonely. You know, I'm an editor by nature. I like being in a small, dark room by myself, putting my shit together and doing my stuff. And that can be a lonely experience. But that's why we have these Twitter spaces now, because we can all, you know, talk and connect and learn from each other. And so like we can still be alone and do the things we need to do, but we can still feel supported. We can still feel connected. And that's just something that's also another dimension that just, you know, didn't really exist before. And just about everyone I've met in the space, you know, in the last year, you know, like Jordan, like Ian, like Kamani, like Michael Beats, like Fancy Crystal Schrader, and Editor One, and all the people, they're all so generous with their time and always willing to help out, and always you know, receptive to comments and collaboration. And it's just something that never really happened before. So like I'm glad to be here. Max, Sherry, I'm glad you guys are here. To our new listeners that we have, I see Jacques is here. We have Lyrical Patron. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ginger, if any of you guys want to come up and join the conversation, we'd love to have you. But that's why I like being here. And it's motivating me to push my work to a higher level, you know, to see what everyone else is doing. You know, I don't feel competitive with it, but it makes me, you know, it pushes the quality. It makes me want to, you know, make sure that I'm making the best thing that I can for the community, for our audience. And it's just been a real blessing to do that. So, yeah. So, so welcome again. Let me just do a quick reset. We'll probably close out the room in another 5-10 minutes. Because while I can talk all day, well, it's a beautiful day out here, and let's all, you know, have a great weekend. So we'll probably close it up. But again, this is Saturday Matinee with me, this guy, the real Charnick, Jason Charnick. We do this 3 times a week. We have Miguel Faus on Mondays, doing Mondays with Miguel. He's about to drop Calladita. So on Wednesday, we're going to be in his room, a 12-hour marathon room, as he celebrates the launch of his project to raise funds for his feature film, Calladita. I don't know, Jordan, I don't know if you had known this. You can just hear, you don't have to jump in if you're busy. But me and Miguel also have the same birthday. I'm like 15 years older than him, but like he put his birthday in his bio, and I'm like, is that like, holy shit, we're birthday brothers. So let that, you know,
just so you know, we're only there from 1 to 2 next
1
Wednesday.
to 2. Okay, so we're gonna do a double dip. So we'll have
No. We're
okay, sorry.
all focused on him.
Just for that, just from 1 to 2.
On Wednesday, March 2nd, rather than having a competing room. We're focused on supporting him. But my moment of going in, because he's got a marathon, so he's going to have a lot of different people coming in and hosting. But the squad, and I'm going to host from 1 to 2. That's Eastern time.
Awesome. So 1 to 2 Eastern time, we'll be celebrating Miguel's drop for Calladita. And then we're going to be doing this every Saturday. On March 5th. So March 5th is next Saturday. We're going to have Josephine on to talk about femalefilmmakers.xyz. She has her new project out, which will be fun to talk about. I'm also, hopefully we can get Michael Beats on, get some more people on, and, continue to chop it up with everybody and hear what everybody's doing. Because, that's the only way, we can connect with each other, is to hear what everyone's doing and push our work to the next level and see what amazing things are, everyone's working on.
Let me add 2 things, and then I'm gonna let you close out the room. So we talked about that we're here 3 times a week. We also have a Discord. You can find that in my link tree if you want to join the community. And I encourage you to do that. We've really grown a lot in the last year. And then so next Wednesday, like we just said, we're going to be out there supporting Miguel in his space, in his 12-hour marathon for his Calladita drop. And then on Friday, there's a little special thing happening that I've had planned for the squad since last June. And I'm psyched to see it coming to fruition. And I will be making that announcement during that space on March 2nd. And then on Wednesday, March, I think 8th, we are having Machen and Mick from the show Riverdale. And she's directed a film, and they have an NFT project around that. And it's also around mental health and activism and things like that. So that's going to be super cool. And I think that's it. So we got a lot of exciting things happening. And welcome, Jacques, to the NFT Filmmaker Squad. I'm gonna since Saturday matinees are Jason's day, I'm gonna back it up and have a beautiful day, everybody.
Thank you, Jordan. I never mind you coming in and dropping some of your knowledge and how just smooth as silk you are running these spaces. So thank you, as always, for everything that you do for filmmakers and for the NFT Film Squad. Jacques, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday. We were going to close out the room in a few minutes, but the floor is yours. Welcome. What are you working on lately?
Oh man, no floor for me. I got 2 ears, 1 mouth. I'm just trying to learn and listen as much as I can, but I really appreciate it, and I just wanted to jump in since you're encouraging people to speak up and extend my support, and I love what y'all are doing, and it was really cool just listening to you guys talk about the potential of the metaverse for the future of film and TV. I think that I too recognize the potential of what's building, and I think I've been kind of just floating around a lot of these spaces since October, and people are just really coming up with some brilliant solutions to audience and the direct connection between filmmakers and audiences. And so I don't know exactly what my play is in this space quite yet, but I'm talking to a lot of really cool people, and they have some really neat ideas. I just had a movie come out recently, and I was trying to get just the people involved to try and do a metaverse screening of some kind. And so it's cool to hear you guys talking about that as a reality, and I look forward to seeing what happens with that. So
awesome, man. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you as part of the conversation. That's the best part about this is, like I was saying, I'm here for the long haul. So I'm not here to come in, blast a project out, and then peace out. It's going to take time to get the lay of the land, see where I don't want to say see where the technology settles, because it just moves so quick that I don't know if it will ever settle or how long it's going to take to really get a foothold for these tools and the technology that's out there. But the best thing to do right now is just learn and absorb what other people are doing. And I've spoken about a lot during this show and over the past few months, the willingness to experiment and the willingness to fail. Like I said, my wife was telling me 8 months ago how awesome it would be if somebody could build a theater. And my wife isn't in entertainment at all. She has no interest in the movie business, but she instantly knew, when you explain what it is, she was like, you should build a movie theater. That sounds amazing. You should do a film festival. And now to see multiple people doing it, and not only multiple people doing it, but doing it in a collaborative way where everybody's thing is, again, it's not just the projects that can be these, this added dimension, but like everyone gets to build their own kind of theater. If you want to build a huge IMAX multiplex, go to town. You want to build a small, art, indie theater, that's an option as well. You get to do what you dig, and so to see, after, initially having that idea, and lots of people did, but seeing people actually execute it now is really exciting. And I think that's the best part, about this is there's so many best parts, but another one of the best parts about this is just seeing people executing and pushing the space forward and pushing the boundaries, because there are no preordained paths for our stuff anymore. There's a whole new on-ramp to connecting with people directly that didn't exist before. So, and the best way we're gonna figure it out is by communicating with each other, seeing what each other's doing, learning from each other's mistakes, and amplifying each other when possible. Sherry, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jason. I'm getting a lot of things sent to me now from, different people doing different things. I'm having a hard time keeping track of all the different initiatives out there. I'm just wondering what you guys think is the best way to start, having a place where we can keep those dots connected. So let's say I'm interested in doing a festival, and I want to know who else out there is already working on doing a festival. So how do we connect? What do you think about the best way for building that community?
Absolutely.
Is it Filmmaker Squad?
You got to join the Discord. You got to join the Discord, because it's a wonderful central repository. Like, I don't know if any of you guys use Slack for work, but I like Slack is a wonderful communication tool, for companies and for work. And Discord's basically the same thing, being able to organize things into channels. And we haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do with Discord, because we can start to do we can do screenings in Discord, because you can share your screen. We can do little screenings. We could have voice channel spaces like these we can do on the Discord. It's a wonderful place to be a repository of information for people. So I would say that's definitely the spot to go to. And we can
all that's in the works. What you just said, all of that's in the works. A lot of the things just take, time, and one of the, as you all know, one of the issues with time and being one person is that you just don't have all the time to do all the things. So hopefully we're going to be growing out the community a little bit with some support in there, and start doing exactly the things that Jason's talking about.
Yeah, and like I have a Discord too, but like Jordan said, it's so much work. Like something has to get lost, while we're trying to work on the projects themselves. And I originally, like I said, when I first jumped in, I was like, let me make my own Discord. And then I found out about the Filmmaker Squad, and I'm like, Jordan's already doing it. I don't need to do this. And so like my Discord's kind of turned into, and we're going to rebuild it and all that. But it's for something else. But it's just a wonderful place to be that central repository for information. So so definitely, if you haven't yet joined the Discord, the link is in Jordan's link tree in her bio.
I have a question, actually. In fact.
Sure, and then we'll get back to Jacques after that, because he's got.
Speaking of Discord, I created a channel a while back. Speaking of CryptoVoxels, and I just wanted, if you guys can let me know if you can see it. You don't have to let me know right now, but I'm not. I
can see it.
You can see it.
So I can see it.
Can you write in it?
If I can use a mouse, I do not have permission to view the message history of #CryptoVoxels, but I see it.
Perfect. So you could click on either Ian's link and go to his, and it takes you there.
Well, I don't. It doesn't show me any of the messages, but it just shows me.
There's no messages. Oh, really? See, there's 2 messages, and each of them have a link. One of them to Christina's parcel.
Yeah, that I do not see. I see that I see the channel that it exists, but it won't show me any messages.
Thank you. That's what I need to know.
This is why make friends with someone who does Discord. Come to the community, make friends with someone who does Discords professionally or just for fun, because it's like a whole science into itself. And I want to do it. Like, setting up Discord is cool. Messing around with some of these bots is cool as fuck. But it's just I'm a filmmaker. I gotta go make some films.
It's so not cool when the bot doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it can get uncool real fast, but it looks like it wants to be cool. So at least it's aspiring to coolness, even if we have to fight it along the way. So yeah. Anyway, Jacques, go ahead. I see you have your hand up.
Yeah. No, man, Discord
Do
can
you
be
do
real fucking
Discords?
complicated.
Can
Yeah,
we hire
yeah.
you?
I unfortunately I'm real busy acting right now, but I want to. I started a Discord for just a few of my friends as an experiment in this world too, and it's fucking complicated, man. I the verification process was even something that was just giving me a headache trying to set up and everything, but it's great to meet experts and expert mods that and pay them ideally so that they're not volunteering their time. I think the beautiful thing about this space is that it's introducing equity to everybody involved, and there's a lot of independent developers. We can pay them too, and it takes the load off of us as artists as well. But it's also appreciating and valuing the artistry that is their trades too.
100%, Doc, which is why I'm still running the Discord and about to go nuts because
yeah,
I refuse not to pay somebody, but yet the NFT Film Squad has no treasury at the moment. So we'll get there. But I am with you 100%.
yeah. I think I mean a treasury definitely is a step in the direction of solving a few of those issues. But then also, I think Jason, I was responding to what you were saying too about how these major streamers and a lot of these centralized organizations are going to have their answer to this stuff. But I think too that's not the point, right? Like this is a bigger movement in relationship to indie film, because I think that uh, independent film festivals have always been around. It's just that now I think that there's a reevaluation of how exactly we can participate and hold value in those spaces that's not extractive, that is instead going back to viewers, all the way from the people that buy the memberships to the investors of the films to the viewers to the filmmakers and crew themselves. They can all participate and have collective ownership of these things, and that's what's exciting to me, because I think that yeah, it's decentralized, right? Sherry, to what you were talking about, like I think there's a million places to get our information, and that's part of the curse, but also part of the beauty is that like we constantly have to be vigilantly looking out for communities that maybe aren't huge, but like speak to us in the way that works for us as individuals, and that's part of the cool allure, I guess, and draw of these systems is that there's no one system that or central space that's going to necessarily be a conduit, and some might gain traction more than others. Like I think uh, Rug Radio is one that's definitely been getting into the space, and I'm not shilling. I'm just saying that like Farouk is introducing decentralized media outlets in a way that could be interesting. But I think that I definitely want to hop into Jordan your Discord and poke around and see what fun there is to be had there too. And that's, man, I'm just excited for everybody here because I feel like we're all early adopters at this stage.
Yeah,
So,
and that's that's not to interrupt you, but like that's the best part about like it's another best part. There's so many best parts, but like that's one of the great things is seeing all these different just the the different avenues. I always thought about it like a choose your own adventure book. Like you open you open the door to NFT land, and like you have a million doors that you can go down. And and even when we talked about and that's why I wanted to have the technical talk with you guys this morning and stuff, because people are always like, well, I heard that such and such has 100 megabytes, and then somebody else will be like, no, it has 200 megabytes, or there's this other one, and it was there's never like there's no like one place where you can see. There's a couple of websites out there that I found, but they're all like super dated. Like I found a lot of like information from or documentation from Arweave and some of these other companies that are like trying to do these decentralized storage of files that would be where we would go to store our films. And a lot of their documentation is dated, and there's a lot of contradictory information. So there really does need to be, and damn it, let it be the NFT Filmmaker Squad Discord, like a central place where like if someone has a question, hey, I have a 500 megabyte file, where can I put it? Instead of like doing a Google search. I mean, you're always welcome to do a Google search, but someplace where you can go and just get the facts about what all these different platforms do, because it'll only help you make an educated decision. And it also goes beyond, also, Jacques, it also goes beyond just finding a platform. Like you were saying, like coders and programmers, it's an art unto itself. So like it gives you an opportunity to connect with other artists, developers, but artists as well that can help elevate the projects. And it's so hard to find. Like, I haven't found a developer personally, because I'm trying to like make my project the best it can be first before I like figure out everything else around it. But like I like to tinker myself. But like you get like a developer as part of your team, and find like if there's no central tool out there or decentral tool out there to get the job done for your project, then you can do your own thing. If there's that's when I heard somebody say this in Web3 when I first got involved. It's like, if you see a gap that needs to be filled, like, you don't have to wait for Amazon or Twitter or Facebook to come and fill that gap. You can write a program and fill that gap yourself. And so like, even if as we all go out and do our own thing, even if we don't use decide that we don't use these tools that are at our disposal and growing and becoming better every day, you can build your own tool for your own project. And that's one of the most exciting things about all of it, I think, is to be able to do something that, even if you can't call yourself the first, you're still doing something no one's ever done before. So with that, I want to thank all you guys for coming today. We've been going for about an hour and a half now. It's been an absolute blast. We will be back next week with Josephine LF talking about femalefilmmakers.xyz, her project. And we've got some more exciting guests coming up on tap. And like Jordan said, during the week, we're going to celebrate Miguel and his drop for Calladita. So again, thank you guys all for coming today. Don't forget to check Jordan's bio for the link to the Discord in her link tree. Feel free to check out my bio and all of my projects. There's absence.movie, latenightdreads.show coming, and all these other experiments that I'm doing of my old films will be up there as well. So be sure to, check out who's to the left of you, who's to the right of you. Follow everybody that's here. Come join us on Monday and Wednesdays and Saturdays now with the matinee, and just kind of kick it around and get to know each other and see how we can help each other out. So unless Jordan has any final words, thank you guys for coming. And we'll see you on Monday with Miguel, and Wednesday and for Calladita, and next Saturday right here for Saturday Matinee. Thank you all for coming. And Jordan has nothing left to say, so I'm going to close the room out. You guys all have a great day. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you all soon. Shock, it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet everybody new. You guys all take care.
All right, thanks for having us.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.